Welcome back to the show. Now, joining us on the show today, of course, Mr. Spencer Lodge, our guest co-host, as well as a financial coach and mentor. She's here to help us understand how to control our wealth. Please welcome Carol Glynn. Carol, welcome to the show. Now, you really specialise in helping couples, families, really structure their finances and their approach to it. Now, I feel like, you know, when we start a family or when we get into marriage, there's a lot of pressure on you to get it all together.
Yeah.
But it can be simple as well. It just depends on the approach, and this is really what you follow.
Yes, exactly. And actually, the simpler, the better. We overcomplicate finance massively. And obviously, the more your wealth grows, there's an element of complication that comes in. But when you're just starting at ground roots at the beginning, keep it super, super simple. It's easier to understand. You actually do more with your money when you do that. And it's easier to have those conversations as well. It's less intimidating when you think about it. This is actually doesn't need to be complicated, especially when you're talking about families. And when couples get together and start talking about money, it can be very interesting and often dangerous conversations that can come up.
Well, that's the thing, isn't the number one cause for argument finances? So what advice would you give people who haven't yet gotten married? What conversations do they need to have? What things do they need to do before they tie the knot?
Yeah, you're right. And it's actually also often cited as the number one cause of divorce. So I guess the arguments lead to that. So I also work very closely with women because I find that women are very intimidated when it comes to talking about money. I constantly hear things like, I feel stupid when it comes to money. I don't want him to think little of me. I've made these mistakes in the past and I'm ashamed. And they don't feel safe to talk to their partner then about their financial situation. They feel intimidated. There is that preconception that he knows better. So I would say that's why I work specifically with women as well, to empower them, to bring up their financial literacy and their confidence. So when they come together as a couple, they can have more open and free conversations. And what I would always say to couples is, talk about your money values. What does money mean to you? And sit and listen to your partner. Very often when we're with partners and we just want to tell them, but I think this, but no, it's this way. Sit and listen and just say, how do you feel about money? What does money mean to you? And it's amazing what that brings up and the closeness that brings. I work with a lot of couples and they tell me, you know, our marriage is amazing. We're really happy. But when it comes to money, no. We just, the fingers come out, we start blaming each other, the arguments, so we stop talking about it and we're really stressed. And then we go through the process and create that safe space and they come back and say they're closer. Because it's such a monumental part of our lives. I mean, we use money every single day. We think about money constantly, even when we don't even realise it. So having that conversation is really important.
When we think about psychology, a lot of the time people think about the financial planning aspects of what they do with numbers and calculators and the abacus many years ago. But a lot of it is around how we feel, okay, and our relationship with money and whether we live in a growth mindset or we're in a fear mindset. What do you do with that?
Oh, I talk a lot about money mindset, and I 100% agree. Most of our money behaviours are down to our mindset and how we feel. We can learn the how-to. You know, as Spencer said earlier, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there that we can learn from. If we don't look at how we feel about money, our mindset, do we have a lack mentality? Or do we fear money? Do we feel like we will never have enough? And sometimes it can be, I'm not good enough. It's really digging deep. So I do a lot of work in my coaching practice on this, just digging down into how do you really feel about money? And are you maybe blocking it in some way without even realising it because of the mindset that maybe you grew up with, the experiences that you had with your family? It's really, really interesting and really powerful when you can park the, okay, I'm saving a lot, that's amazing, but maybe what's stopping me from investing? What is underneath that? And then it's how easy then it becomes. Then it becomes even more easy because you think, oh, this is why I do what I do. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Let's move forward.
As challenging as it gets to couples, what about children? A child may compare himself to another child who has a brand new phone, or I feel little if I have less money than my friends do. How do you inscribe that financial mindset into children, and starting from what age?
I mean, their studies show that babies start recognizing numbers and understanding the concepts from like 8 months, which I found mind-blowing. So I think it's really important from a very young age to watch your own mindset and how you're speaking about money in front of and to your children and how you're behaving. And I have 3 kids. and they hear me talk about money a lot, as you can imagine. But it's really interesting conversations I have with them. And it's not even other people. I mean, I have twins, and they have very different money mindsets already.
Oh.
How they approach money is very different already. And they have the same environment. I mean, they spend 95% of their time together, probably. So it's been watching what I say, how I behave, talk to them in language that they can understand, that they can relate to. Recently, my daughter wanted to, because she was the only one who didn't have a phone, and I want an Apple phone. So I brought up the conversation of, well, you can buy an Apple phone or you can buy Apple shares, and this is what the difference is. Now, she was not interested in shares.
I didn't think as much.
So, Mommy, I don't care.
Carol, you're doing very important work. Thank you so much for joining us on DXB today.
Thank you for having me.